This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr. Hey, LowcoSports fans, welcome to another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown. I am Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr. And Wes, we've got another busy week of sports here in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We got news from here at home as well as out and about and even abroad. So lots of stuff to get to. But, first things first, we'll check in. And, I'll just say it has been a crazy week on my end. It's starting to get toward that spring crossover season. I was over at May River a couple of times this week and saw all the soccer players out there, baseball and softball out there, lacrosse out there. So that's exciting to see. It also means our little travel baseball team starting to practice. So my evenings are getting a little more chaotic this time of year. And then, of course, we're just slammed with all kinds of great sports news happening. Lots of basketball going on as we get toward the playoffs here. And, of course, a ton of wrestling. And, in fact, we'll talk with Alex Rutherford, the head coach of the Battery Creek wrestling team, a little later in the show. But and then we also had a big announcement this week, Wes, because we launched LowcoGolf.com. So our golf fans can go check that out for everything they need to know about golf in the Lowcountry. But how are you holding up over there, man? You had a good week?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's been busy. A great time here for sports in the Lowcountry as we get into that changeover season into February, and basketball coming down the wire as we get into this new month. Some great games on tap, and I'll be out over on Nest for a big one on Friday night. Beaufort High, the Eagles still undefeated in region play. Just pulled off a massive win last week over James Island, and now looking to keep it rolling against the Red Hot Seahawks squad that's really found its groove down the stretch. That should be a fantastic matchup. I'll be there for that one on Friday. I'm really excited. I think it could go either way. So could be a phenomenal contest. And, when I haven't been covering high school basketball or doing podcasts, I've been on the air covering USCB Sandshark baseball and softball. And then the Sandsharks underway here in 2022. Been a tough start for the baseball team, 1-4 to begin the season. But, I'm sure this offense, which has started out a little cold, going to find ways to heat up. Just too much talent on that lineup. And a great start on the softball side for Cody Yeske, making her head coaching debut. Sierra Belinsky with a complete game shutout. So a good start there on the softball side as well. A lot to like for both teams early on. Back at this weekend for more baseball. The baseball team just picked up a series against Bruton Parker this weekend, so we'll be on the call for that one. And then softball up against Montreat. So more baseball and softball action on tap. And then, of course, I've been able to find some time to get outside and even in this cold weather. And, it's been warming up. I think today it's going to get into the 60s. So that's great to see as we approach spring in just a few weeks. The groundhog said 6 more weeks of winters. So getting closer to that in order to see some warm weather and as we approach spring sports. But also found some time to catch up on your Kansas City Chiefs, which unfortunately fell short in just a phenomenal battle against the Cincinnati Bengals. And just what a story. They've been saying, why not us all season long? And now they're saying it is us because they just took down the defending AFC champs at Arrowhead to move on to the Super Bowl. And just an incredible run for this Bengals team. And Joe Burrow, what more can you say about what he has done? I don't think he's ever lost a big game in his career. And then we look back at LSU, what he did there, bringing the Tigers all the way to the national championship. And, man, just unbelievable what he has done in just a short time in his career. And Evan Money McPherson just continues to come up clutch, walk out there, and he just gets it done every time. And, just an amazing story. I know it's tough for a Chiefs fan when you had a 21-3 lead early on the ball game. But, man, the Bengals, a team that was unproven and, had probably at least 2, if not 3 teams picked to finish ahead of them in their own division. And now they're going to the Super Bowl. Just an incredible story. And, it goes to show you, it's a good lesson for our high school football players. You're never out of the game. And it just takes one botched play, one miscue to really swing momentum. And we saw that right there with that interception. How about that clutch stop at the end of the half by that Cincinnati defense? Just phenomenal stuff. Just continuing to fight and battle. And just a great lesson for all of our football players that you're never out of it. Just continue to keep grinding on every play, and you'll have your chances. So just an awesome day and awesome playoffs in the NFL. It seems like the last 2 divisional and the championship Sunday have just every game has gone down to the wire. And I think it should be a good one 2 weeks from now in LA as the Bengals face Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Great to see it for Stafford, who's had a tough start in terms of his career, having to grind over there in Detroit, but getting an opportunity over in LA and making the most of it. So great to see for Stafford. So many awesome stories coming up, and great for Kenny Anderson, who we talked to with that this past week about his Cincinnati Bengals and finally getting back to the Super Bowl. And it got to bring back some amazing memories for him. And I'm sure he is so proud about what this team has done. So we'll definitely have to get Kenny on in the coming weeks. And I think we got some more news here locally that just came across this week. And we have launched our very own new website here. Tell us more about LowcoGolf.com.
Yeah, LowcoGolf.com is something that, we've talked about for about a year now with my friend Ian Guerin, and as well as yourself and Brian Rietfeld, been trying to get it together. And finally, after about a year, we've got the website live. LowcoGolf.com is up and running. We're going to have a little bit of everything there. We'll be covering the local golfers from the junior ranks all the way up to the pros. We got Bryson Nimmer out there grinding, and we've got William McGirt, a Clemson guy who actually lives at Berkeley Hall now, PGA Tour guy. So, we'll be keeping tabs on him and all of our other locals, but also just, covering the local golf industry news that has slipped through the cracks over the past few years, because it's so important to our local economy and to our just our community. So we feel like we need to keep a pulse on that, what's happening at the local golf courses and with the people that are involved in the industry here. And we also want to cater to the people who come here to play golf. There are so many millions every year who flock here for our golf courses. And so we want to give them course reviews and features and things like that will help them navigate it and find the courses they want to play and things like that. So, we've got our inaugural Best of Loco Golf competition going on right now. We're taking nominations for that through the website. We'd love to get a lot of feedback from our readers and from local golfers and tourists who come here and just kind of take a pulse on the local golf scene and get a starting point here to go forward with comprehensive golf coverage. It's tough to go from not zero, because we were covering golf on LowcoSports, but from a minimal level of coverage to the comprehensive coverage that we're planning to provide over time. But we're going to get there slowly but surely, add some new wrinkles as we go. And I'm really excited, to partner with Ian. First of all, we've known each other since college, almost 20 years ago, and finally getting to formally work together on this level is going to be great. And then always excited to work with you and Brian, who are just terrific and so passionate about local sports and local golf. And I think we're going to do some great things with it, and I think our golf fans are really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. What a week this is for us here at LowcoSports. And now we are thrilled to launch Loco Golf, which will be a companion, of course, to our main site, which will give you the best possible coverage of everything golf here in the area and beyond. And we know what golf means. It's really intertwined with our culture here. And if it wasn't for golf, our area would not be what it is today. And golf was always going to be at the centerpiece here when Charles Frazier came over to Harbor Town. And it's going to be the same for us here at Loco Golf. And we'll have tons of amazing content, including golf course reviews and of all of our phenomenal venues. We'll have some special insights, recaps, some more stories, and we get to some of our big events, including the Junior Heritage and some other local tournaments. Of course, the RBC Heritage coming up just around the corner 2 months from now in April. And, we'll be doing our best to keep track of all of our local junior golfers and those playing college and beyond. I mean, we talk all the time about what Bryson Nimmer and Jonathan Grizz, among others, have done. But, there's so many young stars who also deserve that comprehensive coverage. And we're going to make that happen here with Loco Golf. And just what an awesome addition it is to already with our Loco Sports content. Expect more reviews, stories, and even some podcasts and interviews coming up with the brightest stars on the golf circuit here and all across the country. So cannot wait. It's going to be a phenomenal addition to what we do here at LowcoSports, Loco Golf. And with you, myself, Brian Rietfeld, and Ian Guerin, been a long time coming. Excited to get the ball rolling. And let's hear a little excerpt from our intro to Loco Golf, our mini podcast that we did. Let's talk about Loco Golf with Justin and I alongside Ian and Brian Rietfeld now on the LowcoSports Lowdown.
Hey, Loco sports fans and Loco golf fans. Welcome to the launch podcast for LocoGolf.com. I'm Justin Jarrett, the founder and president of LocoSports.com, and the co founder, along with my friend Ian Guerin, who's up there on the screen, of Loco Golf. And we are excited to finally get this thing off the ground on February 1st. We got Wes Kerr and Brian Riedfeld with us, a couple of guys who have been instrumental in, kind of developing this idea and helping with some content. And we're ready to go. Ian, I know I'm really excited. You're really excited. We told folks a little bit about our relationship going back to the University of Missouri back in the early 2000s. And we both found our way to South Carolina and found ourselves covering a lot of golf. And last winter, we started talking about this prospect. And it's been a little bit slower to develop than we would have hoped because we're very busy. But we're finally ready to go. And I'm really excited about the product and excited to be working with you, man, formally for the first time.
Right. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, I went down there on New Year's Day last year when we met and we first started talking about this idea. And, it was funny because we always knew that we were going to kind of take it slow and feel it out. And now we're here and it's like this rush of excitement. Like, man, we actually did this. This is really cool, it's fun knowing that while we're here at launch day, and we're all ready and excited to go, that we've got all these other ideas that it's like every, few days we text each other like, hey, what about this? And so I think that excitement is going to carry through. And I think that people that come visit the site are going to feel that way too. This kind of ever changing organic growth that you've always talked about with Loco Sports. I think we're going to feel that same thing.
Yeah, I think it's the next kind of natural evolution. And Wes, you've been, super involved with Loco Sports over the past couple of years and really helped me to expand that and develop a little bit further. But talk to me about your excitement about Loco Golf because you're coming in here as a native of Hilton Head, a guy who grew up here, and you understand how important golf is to the fabric of the Low Country, and it's been very important to you. So, tell me about your excitement about this and how you think we can, take what we've done with Loco Sports and expand it over to the golf space.
Just an outstanding day here for Loco Sports here, and as we get ready to get Loco Golf off the ground, and the sport of golf is just intertwined with the history here in the Low Country, Hilton Head Island, and South Carolina, and just growing up here on the island, learning to play the game of golf at a young age, going to the RBC Heritage, formerly the MCI Heritage, and going there almost every year, watching some of the most talented golfers compete right here in the Low Country. Just an awesome experience as a child, and being able to grow up with the game of golf. It teaches you so many lessons as a child, and just having that experience to go out in the course and play on a regular basis. One of the greatest experiences of my childhood here in the South Carolina Low Country, and be able to implement this outstanding resource here in Loco Golf, adding on to all the things that we do here on LowcoSports.com. We're going to have comprehensive coverage of all of our phenomenal golf courses around here in the Low Country, and you get to cover all of our juniors and professionals now all over the country and beyond, doing some great things, who have grown up here in the Low Country and are continuing to play the game of golf, and just shed a light on this incredible sport that has meant so much to us here throughout the Low Country and beyond.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. This is one of the things that I felt like we haven't been able to do as well as I'd like to with Loco Sports. And, this just gives us an outlet where we can be a little more comprehensive with the golf coverage. I think back to my days at the Island Packet, and at one time we had a weekly golf page that was just a full page in the newspaper, just jam full of local golf stuff. And, where has all that gone? Who's reporting on that stuff? And, we can pick up the pieces and start to put that back together. We used to run holes in one and things like that. Just fun little things like that I think people will really enjoy, as well as the course reviews and things. And I have to admit, Brian is actually the one who kind of got me thinking about this, because we started talking about how we could expand the golf coverage at Loco Sports, and Brian started to do some stuff, and I thought, man, there's such an opportunity here. And then I bounced it off Ian and his experience in the golf space in Myrtle Beach, and things just started to develop organically. But Brian, you've been such a huge part of the local golf scene here from coaching high school teams to volunteering and helping out with junior events. So, tell us a little bit about your relationship to golf in the Loco and what you think this website will do to help promote it.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped, baby. We got this is definitely needed. We've been, as a former high school golf coach, working with the youngsters and working in the golf industry down here off and on over the past 20 years, which that's ridiculous. This is going to be a beautiful thing, and I think it's going to shed a lot of light on the local coverage, the high school kids, the college kids, the local tournaments. A lot of events happen here that people don't even know about, whether it's U.S. Open qualifiers. We have the Darius Rucker coming up in a couple of weeks. Big East tournaments out at Kalawasi, the Junior Heritage coming up as well. So I'm just super excited for people to be able to see all of the things that actually do happen here, not just the great golf courses that we get to play, on the amateur and for fun, but also on the competitive stage. So super excited to shed some light on that and hopefully get some news on some developments as some of the golf courses that may be expanding, some new properties and things of that nature as well.
And just the news in the industry, because golf is such a huge part here of our culture and our businesses and just our industry in general here in the Low Country and Hilton Head. So obviously we'll be on top of all of those big time developments as we continue to expand the amount of golf courses, products, and opportunities that are available here in Hilton Island, Lupton, and all throughout Beaufort County and the Low Country. Yeah. So we will be on top of all of that. Just so many opportunities. Really, the number of things we could do is almost endless here at Local Golf, and so excited to kick things off very soon.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's kind of a blank slate, and there's so much that can be done. And I don't know exactly what it's going to look like a year or 5 years from now. But as you go to locogolf.com today and you look at what it looks like, think back, if you're a LowcoSports fan, think back to 4.5 years ago and where we started and where we are now. And, use your imagination. We've got a pretty big vision, and we're going to let it grow organically and develop as it does naturally. But we've got a lot of big things planned and in mind, like Ian said. And we're also going to have golf course reviews. We've got a few up on the site already. And Ian, you've kind of taken the head on that because you've written so many of them in the Myrtle Beach area and quite a few down here too, as you've started making your way down here to play more golf courses. So what are you kind of going for with those golf course reviews, and how are they going to differ from, maybe what already exists out there if people are looking for the best golf courses for them here in the Loco?
Yeah, we actually had friends over last night, and the husband is a huge golfer and was we were talking about this a little bit, and one of the things that me and him were discussing was, I'm not a big technical guy. I'm not always going to be talking about club angles or concentrate too much on, okay, well, which blade of grass is this? Yeah, it's important. I mean, we've seen a huge rush of Sunday Bermuda taking over greens up and down the coast because we found that it works really well with the environment. Now, at the same time, is that the biggest deal in the world? No. I want to find the story behind the course. I want to find the people that were involved with it. I want to write about that. I want to write about what that course's meaning is to the local golf scene. When I went out to Hilton Head National, I mean, one of the biggest things that popped off to me was that RV park. I mean, you're standing at the clubhouse and you kind of pan right, and all of a sudden you've got this massive RV park. Well, you don't see those coupled with golf courses very often. Well, why did that happen, and how is it going to work? I thought that was just a very small part of Hilton Head National story, but I felt like it was important because there was a time where maybe they wondered if that road expansion was going to have more of an impact on National. So, that I think that's a really good example of what you can see when I go out to review a course. Oddly enough, I'm not the greatest golfer in the world. If I'm not playing regularly, my scores are in the 90s, and that's okay, because you know what? The professional golfer who's out there, shooting par or below, he ain't coming to us to figure out a course anyway. we're doing this for everybody. We want people to come enjoy the content, maybe learn a thing or two, and then if it inspires them to go play a round or two and give us their feedback, then man, we're all for it.
That's a great point. And, when you talk about talking about the history of these golf courses, you're really talking about the history of this area, because when you go back to the roots of this becoming a tourist destination, it all goes back to Harbor Town and Sea Pines and Charles Frazier. And it was all based around golf, and it's really grown up around golf. So I think that's a good point, that there's a little bit of local history that's intertwined with a lot of these golf courses, and some of the biggest events that have come to the area have been golf tournaments played on various courses throughout the area. Some of the better athletes that have come through this area have been golfers, and you think about Bryson Nimmer right now, probably one of the most successful athletes from this area on the professional stage. So it is an important part of our culture and our fabric, and we're going to try to intertwine all of that into one. And we're actually going to kick it off with a little bit of that too, Ian, because we started talking about how we could get people excited about this. And one thing that popped to mind is to do a kind of a best of list and lean on our readers and those visitors who come here every year to play golf, and let them tell us what's your favorite course, what's your favorite hole, what's your favorite 19th hole to get to after the round, whatever. Where do you go to get your equipment when you come to town and you need to pick up a couple of things before you hit the course. So we want to curate all of that stuff into one. So we're doing our Best of Loco Golf Awards, our inaugural ones. A little strange to start it off that way, maybe, but I think it's a great way to kind of just take a pulse of what's happening on the local golf scene, and just kind of get a starting point. Let's see how it evolves over the next few years and beyond. So you can vote in that. You can nominate all your favorites. We've got a Google form set up. It's very prominently placed at locogolf.com. You can't miss it. You can make your nominees. We're going to sift through the nominees and pick 3 finalists in each category, and then put it to a vote for our readers and announce them toward the start of April. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun process, and kind of reconnecting with some of those golf courses that I haven't been on in a while, but I know Brian's been around the block. But I guess let's just go around and one more thing to add, that each of you are excited about this. Ian, get us started, man. What are you excited about here?
Yeah, I'm honestly, just like you said, I'm very excited about this Best of Loco Golf. I want to hear from a lot of people. I'm a big marketplace of ideas type of guy. I think you put as many ideas into the room as humanly possible and let the best one come out. Well, that's what we're looking for. And this is an opportunity for us to hear from potentially thousands of people in a very short amount of time. What are we missing? Because that's the thing. We're 4 guys that only have a finite amount of time to go out and do this. But if we start hearing from a bunch of people, hey, you got to check this out. Hey, have you guys gone and look at this? Have you gone and eaten here? Well, you know what? We're going to go check out that course. We're going to go, eat at that restaurant. We're going to go talk to that teaching professional. That's what I'm really excited about, because this is going to be a crash course for all of us. And even the 3 of you that have been living down there for a while, I think this is a way for all of us to really have our eyes open to see what everybody else is thinking too.
I'm really excited to seeing these course reviews come up, to get a look at all of the amazing courses here around the Low Country that sometimes we haven't really seen much of, and provides an opportunity to really put all these different courses on the map. And also, I'm very excited to document the journeys of all of our phenomenal high school and college bound and now professional golfers who are making a name for themselves across the country. And it's hard to keep an eye on all of them, but I think we're going to do a great job in terms of keeping track on what all of our students and now professionals are doing all across the area. And we look at, you mentioned Bryson Nimmer, but some of the others right now in college playing golf, a couple of high school stars who are doing great things, not just in the high school meets, but across in other areas as well. Junior Heritage, some of the other tournaments that they're performing in. So definitely will provide us a great opportunity to keep track on them, and just so many amazing opportunities in store here at Loco Golf going forward. Just so excited for the future here of Loco Sports and Loco Golf as we get ready to start things off.
Yeah, piggyback on kind of both of those. I'm excited to do some deep dives on some of the history of the golf courses down here. We've had some of the most amazing architects work on the properties down here, from Trent Jones to obviously Fazio, uh, just Bobby Weed. Shed some light on that history there, and then also keep everybody up to date, just like you said, Wes, of the talent that we do have coming through here. So super excited to bring that to Loco Golf and to all of our readers.
Yeah, and I'm also excited to provide a way for our local businesses to reach an audience that they're trying to get to, the folks who are either locals who love the game of golf, or the visitors who come here year after year to play the game. We're going to give them an opportunity to get in front of that audience, and also support what we're doing, that I think is a valuable part of the community and going to be a real resource to help promote golf in the Low Country, and we all know how important it is to our economy, and our way of life. So I'm really excited just to get this out there, and I have great relationships still in the golf industry locally that I developed from doing this for the Island Packet. Just going out and covering tournaments and writing about news developments and things like that. So I look forward to reconnecting with a lot of those people, and making a lot of new connections, making a lot of new friends, and promoting this great golf economy we've got here in Hilton Head and around the area. So I think that's about it for today, guys. I'm really excited to get started. I hope folks enjoy the site, LowcoGolf.com. Like Ian said, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you would like to see, what you want it to be, how we can make it more valuable to you. So get in touch with us. We got a contact form on the website that'll get straight to us, and we'll address any concerns and see if we can't make this thing a little bit better and make it the best that it can be.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. That's going to do it for today. We've got work to do, and we're going to get more content up there for you at LowcoGolf.com real soon. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, go Loco. All right, Wes. Well, really excited about getting that project off the ground. But yesterday we had to take a little break from Loco Golf because it was signing day. It was National Signing Day. The early period came a couple months back, but now it's time for everybody to get in there. And we had a bunch of kids signing throughout the area. We will be getting recaps of all of those up on the website in time. And we've got more signings scheduled over the next week or so. But, I was over at May River where they had 4 athletes sign. 2 kids going to Columbia College. Ruthie Roman going to play softball there, and Adriana Machado going to play soccer there. 2 outstanding high school athletes for the Sharks. And then on the football side, 2 guys signing as well. Jayon Allen going to SC State. Going to join a couple other Loco guys up there, Rakim White and Kylan Simmons, and try to get another HBCU national championship to Orangeburg. And then we've got Garvin Douglas. He's going back to my stomping grounds. He's going out to Hutchinson, Kansas Community College, which, I think that's a great fit for him. I talked with his mom a little bit, and she indicated that, he was really wanting the opportunity to at least try to be a college quarterback. And they feel like he can develop the arm strength and throwing ability that he's going to need to succeed at that level. And they feel like Hutchinson's a great place to do it. And I have to agree. I mean, Kansas JUCO Conference is outstanding. We saw a couple other guys going that route with Battery Creek, Quattrell Livingston, and Alvin Back, both committed to Coffeyville Community College, even closer to where I'm from. So I think this is a good thing. I think it's promising because I've seen these Kansas JUCOs recruiting up and down the South Carolina coast here. They got a bunch of guys from Myrtle Beach too, and I think this is great. I don't think they've tapped into this area a lot. I think there are a lot of kids we have here who are the type of kids who would benefit from the junior college route for a number of reasons. One, they maybe just aren't far along enough in their development to be ready for a higher level. That's an opportunity for them to continue to develop. Maybe they are an athlete type that doesn't really fit into a box cleanly, and they need to figure out where they fit. And maybe there's somebody like a Garvin Douglas who felt like the opportunities, due to circumstances of not playing much in his junior year, the opportunities just weren't there that they felt like they wanted. So you hit pause for a year or two, you go to the JUCO ranks and develop, and then you see what's out there in a couple of years, because frankly, you're probably not getting on the field at that D1 program the first year or two anyway. So, I think it's a great opportunity to develop while playing and knock out those gen eds, especially if you're from a little bit more underprivileged background where you can't afford to go pay full freight and be a PWO. This is a great route for you. And, I think it's going to be great for Garvin, for the guys at Battery Creek. And I think a few other guys will probably end up going the JUCO route too. But you were over at Hilton Head. So tell us about the Seahawks who signed yesterday.
Yeah, we had 5 Seahawks signed to continue their athletic careers at the college level. The most notable was Addie O'Grady, the volleyball star, who did some great work both at Hilton Head Christian Academy and then Hilton Head High, of course, leading the Seahawks to that state championship. What a memorable season that was in 2020. Just an absolute force at the net, middle hitter, finding a way to punish opponents, just racking up those kills. Getting those blocks on the defensive side as well. She really did it all and exemplified that leadership during her time under Garrett Larchek at Hilton Head High. And you just talk about what she did this year, 304 kills in just 36 matches, 206 digs, 42 blocks, and 51 aces, doing a little bit of everything and mastering pretty much every part of the game for the Hilton Head High squad. And what a legacy that she leaves behind, not just Hilton Head High, but all across the island at Hilton Head Christian Academy. And she will be certainly missed. And she has head to USC Upstate, actually committed back in August, but is now officially signed and should have a fantastic career as she goes to a Spartan program that's on the rise. She noted about what this head coach has done very quickly, turn the program around, and she is very excited to make the jump to the college level. I think she'll do some great things over there. And 4 lacrosse players also signing, including Anna Farabee, who becomes the first girls lacrosse player in the tenure of Kara Cook, the head coach there, to commit to the college level. And we talked about Farabee last week, but she has been an absolute star on the offensive end for Hilton Head High. 48 goals that led the Loco last year, 11 straight games with at least 3 or more. If you talk about the consistency of finding ways to produce on the offensive side, just unreal what she continued to do last year. And of course, led the Seahawks on that incredible playoff run. She scored 6 goals in both of those 2 playoff wins against Philip Simmons and an AC Floor, absolutely willing her team to that semifinal appearance. I mean, just one of the best playoff performances I saw all season long from anybody. Just unbelievable. And of course, she was named our All-Loco Player of the Year, very well-deserved All-Loco Player of the Year award winner there, Anna Farabee. And she is headed to Erskine to join the Flying Fleet. So we talk all the time about that pipeline. It seems like we've got a bunch of Seahawks from a number of sports making that to jump over to Erskine. So congratulations to Anna, and she still gets 1 more year, as do 3 other boys lacrosse players who also signed. We got Gavin Dellinger and Seth Woods. Gavin Dellinger and Seth Woods both going to Guilford College, and then Amari Ford, who we've seen both on the football field and the lacrosse field, going to Hampton University. So awesome for all 3 of those standouts on the lacrosse field. And Woods, a key part of that offense, really great high energy and hustle out there. Dellinger really shining in goal, picked up a couple key wins over the Bobcats this season over Bluffton. So he was an important part of that team at goalie. And then Amari Ford, a terrific defender. He racked up 63 ground balls last year and forced a loco high 36 turnovers. So using that strength and athleticism and just that effort. Defense is all effort no matter what sport you're talking about. And he showed that all season long to force the mistakes and play a big role for the Seahawks squad. And we talk about Ford and what he did for football as well on the defensive side for BJ Payne. Just a terrific all-around athlete. And congratulations to all 5 of these. It's always awesome to see signing day, such a memorable day in the life of these young men and women. You work so hard as a young kid when you decide what sports you want to play. You go into middle school, you go into high school, and your dream is to work hard and have the talent and perform so that you have the opportunity of putting pen to paper and signing with your friends and family watching. And just so proud of all 5 of those Loco stars getting an opportunity to continue playing at the next level, which is the dream for everyone. So congratulations to all 5.
Yeah, and it's not the dream necessarily for everyone, but for those who it is the dream for, what an incredible thing to set a goal that is not easy to reach and to get there. I mean, it really is something, and we say it all the time, but we celebrate these signings regardless of the level of competition because, again, a lot of times it's not a question of whether they could play at the next level. It's where they feel they fit best. And, what are their priorities? Do they want to be on a team? Do they want to play? Do they want to be a contributor? Do they want to be a star? What is your role going to be? And you find the level where you feel like you can get to those goals. So, always a great thing. And speaking of that pipeline to Erskine, Cameron Van Giesen at Thomas Hayward has committed to Erskine. I don't know if he signed yesterday. I know they had a signing ceremony out there for Brandon Howard, who's going to Charleston Southern, of course. And I saw a couple of commitments come out yesterday. Not sure whether they signed yet, but Van Giesen going to Erskine, and then Preston Hamilton getting an opportunity at Limestone, which is also great to see. And, I think he's a player who could be really a factor at the D2 level. So I'm excited about that opportunity for him. Over at Bluffton, DJ Aiken signing with Florida International, which, I think that's cool. Bryce Singleton cycling out to the NFL draft, and DJ Aiken sliding in to keep the Loco presence going there. So, and then over at Whale Branch today on Thursday, they're going to have a ceremony with Xavier Chaplin, finally making it official. He will be a Hokie. He got a lot of interest late from a lot of teams on both sides of the ball, but he stayed committed to Virginia Tech and actually signed yesterday, but they're having a ceremony today. And then Joseph Hicks also on his way to Limestone. So, great to see these guys getting opportunities at the next level. I think Hicks is another guy that, he doesn't check all the boxes metric wise, but, I retweeted something the other day that was about Patrick Mahomes and how straight line speed, sprint speed doesn't necessarily equate to game speed, and how Mahomes is such a better runner than his metrics would indicate. So, I think Hicks is one of those guys that maybe doesn't pass the test when you look at the numbers, but when you get him on the football field, as Jerry Hatcher said early in the season, ain't nobody tackled him yet.
Yeah, what a monster he was this year, and all the guys that you mentioned have put in the work and have become absolute stars for their teams at the high school level, and just awesome to see, whether it's JUCO, whether it's D3, D2, D1, getting an opportunity to continue your career at the next level and continue to grind and get those chances. That's what it's all about, and all of these players have earned it. And congratulations, great for DJ Aiken. I mean, when you play for a team that had a tough season, and John Hopp did an incredible job, but I mean, I'm just so proud of what DJ did over at Bluffton through a couple hard years, and of course having to deal with the tragedy of losing one of his teammates last year. The grind that he has shown and the effort that he has put in has just been incredible, and great to see that tradition keep going. Even though Bryce Singleton heading to the NFL draft, I get to have another Loco stud over at Florida International. Another guy who didn't sign but had a big day this week, Keith Chisholm gets an offer from Appalachian State. What a sensational year he had on defense. 9 interceptions on the season, 33 tackles, another budding star over at Whale Branch.
Yeah, I told you early in the season that they're using D. Delaney's name when they talk about him, which is a pretty special compliment coming from Seabrook, because they think the world of D. Delaney, and rightly so. But Keith, just a sophomore this year, was really, really impressive on defense. I think he could be a very good receiver too. They just don't throw the ball a lot in their offense. But man, he's a dangerous deep threat, and they will take some shots with him and try to get him in space. But that's great for him. Going to be first of many for him. I mean, to get on the radar as a sophomore at a 1A school is pretty impressive. And I think there's going to be a lot of copycats who are like, who's this guy App State's on? And they're going to start taking a look at him, and they'll probably come flooding in for him. But yeah, and some other announcements out there. We're trying to keep up with them because they're coming in fast and furious. But I do know that Christian Miller, former Seahawk DB, announced his transfer. He's going to Fort Valley State. So another guy going the HBCU route. And I love this, man. I love this this movement toward more and more players going the HBCU route. I think it's a great thing. And, we saw the excitement around South Carolina State winning that HBCU national championship. It really makes you realize, how excited that fan base can get about the sport. And you see what they're doing at Jackson State. And, man, it's an exciting time for HBCU football.
Yeah, primetime Deion Sanders over there. And then, man, SC State, what a program that has become. It seems like they are really racking up the offers after winning that HBCU national championship. Just a memorable season over there. and what they did in that Celebration Bowl, and just a phenomenal run all the way through that season. And it's great to see for some of our own who were a part of that. And we got some more on the way, and just building a heck of a tradition over there at these HBCUs. And you mentioned Christian Miller, and what a phenomenal piece that he was with Hilton High defense, and what BJ Payne's group did over these last few years. And he used the time to find the best fit for himself, of course, entering the transfer portal and having to deal with all the tough scenarios of COVID, and he used it to his advantage, of course, originally at Gardner Webb, but found the place that was best for him. And, Fort Valley State, that's an outstanding choice, a competitive D2 program, and a chance to step in right away, which is what you're wanting now as you go further into your college career. You want to find an opportunity to play. I think he's going to get that over here at Fort Valley State. So congratulations to Christian Miller. I think we got some great things on the way with him, and just overall. And I want to talk about Garvin Douglas. I didn't really get a chance to do that, but man, I just think it's an incredible fit for him. I mean, as I mentioned, whether it's D1, D2, D3, JUCO, it's a big accomplishment. And I think JUCO actually works out for a player of his skill set. He is super talented. The explosiveness that we saw on the field was unmatched at the high school level. And I mean, it seemed like every time he got the ball, he was a threat to take it all the way as a runner. But he really wants to develop his abilities at quarterback, and he showed some good stuff there in his senior year. You wish he could have had more experience earlier on, junior, sophomore, even freshman year. Of course, he had to work behind Ahmad Green. When you have a quarterback like Ahmad Green who could do it all, it's tough to find an opportunity. But Garvin Douglas has some great potential. We've seen what he's done on the basketball court, just a terrific athlete. And I think the JUCO route is perfect. It gives you a chance to find time to play, and everyone will look at that tape. I mean, JUCO programs are very respected, and they'll look and see what you can do. And if you can ball and you can perform, you'll get those chances at the next level. And we see all the stars coming out of JUCO into the college, the big D1 schools, and even occasionally on the NFL. I mean, if you can show that you have the athleticism and the talent to shine and excel on the football field, you're going to get some looks. And I think that could be the same here with Garvin Douglas as he heads out to begin his college career.
Yeah, and I think it also there's a lot of good benefits about the JUCO route. One of them I think is the flexibility it offers. Because Garvin can go in there and work out a quarterback for a year, and if it's not working out, then he's still got another year of junior college that he can. They could even redshirt him the first year if it's not working out, and he's got up to 2 years left of eligibility at the junior college level to convert to another position, whether it's tight end, H-back, free safety. For me, he's a Division I football player. You just don't know if he's a Division I quarterback yet, and he might not be, but he might be. But I think the JUCO route gives him some flexibility, some time to sort through that, and to just see at that level whether it translates at quarterback, and to be able to see for himself, because he was not ready to give up that dream yet. And so I'm glad he got that opportunity to try to do it at the collegiate level.
It's very similar, just as being like a college student. You're coming in undecided. You don't really have a major, or kind of not sure what you want to do, and you kind of take a bunch of classes in some different areas, and you kind of find what your strong points are. And it's very similar to what Garvin Douglas gets to do. Obviously, coming in as a quarterback, that's his preferred position, but he has the talent to shine as an H-back, tight end, wide receiver, defensive back. I mean, I think the possibilities are limitless, and having the time to really study these positions, get some work in, and put in the effort, he's going to get a chance to really find out what his best spot is in terms of succeeding as a potential Division II, Division I player down the road. So I agree with you. I think it's just not an opportunity for Garvin Douglas, and I think he's going to make the most of it over there.
Looking forward to seeing how he does out in my old stomping grounds out in Kansas. And, I'll probably be I'll pay closer attention to Kansas JUCO football than I have in a number of years, because even when I covered the conference, Labette did not have football. So I covered a lot of basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, but not a whole lot of football. So we did have some local guys who, went to Independence and Coffeyville and some of those places. But it's a great league, and I think our guys are going to do well out there. And hopefully it opens up even more opportunities for more kids from this area to go out there and excel and show what they can do and get on to the next next level. So, well, Wes, let's take a quick break, and then we'll shift gears and talk wrestling with Battery Creek coach Alex Rutherford up next here on the Loco Sports Lowdown. Hey, Loco Sports fans. Does your business or organization need a new website or need help drawing more visitors to an existing site? Dds Web Design can make it happen. From simple HTML pages to get businesses online to complex site designs with maximum functionality, DDS has services suited to every budget, and they love working with small businesses and entrepreneurs. They also build year-round maintenance into every package, so your website is always up to date. Check them out at ddswebdesign.com or call 843-931-8668 and tell them Loco sent you. Hey, Loco Sports fans, you know we're all about keeping it local, and that goes for pizza night too. When you've got a craving for the best pie in town or the best kept secret, their amazing mac and cheese, keep it local with Local Pie. They have 2 locations, on the Promenade in Bluffton and on New Orleans Road on Hilton Head Island, where they serve up incredible wood-fired pizza featuring regional sourced ingredients, and their mac and cheese is the best kept secret in town. And they're committed to giving back to the community and protecting the environment. So when it's time for takeout, keep it local with Local Pie, the official pizza sponsor of Loco Sports. Hey, Loco Sports fans, are you looking to promote your business or organization? You can do it right here with the sponsorship of the Loco Sports Lowdown podcast, the Loco Hoops Report, or the Loco Pigskin podcast. Rates start at a very affordable $50 a week to advertise your event, organization, or business, and reach a loyal local audience that supports grassroots local sports journalism. Send us an email at locosports@gmail.com today to get started. Go Loco. All right, Loco Sports fans, we are joined now by Coach Alex Rutherford over at Battery Creek, the wrestling program. And Alex, you know, such a great program over there at Battery Creek back through the years, and you know, a kind of a special but also somber season for you guys, remembering longtime coach Nate Day, who passed away late last year from COVID-19. And you know, I know you guys have had the open seat in your gym on the bench for him and stuff this season. And just tell us a little bit about what this season's been like, just seeing Battery Creek wrestling kind of get back up on that level where they're ready to compete for you know, some big time a region title already, trying to make a run at a state title, and just kind of the emotional ride that this season has been thus far.
Yeah. It's been kind of crazy. Obviously losing Coach Day is hard. He's been a hero to many of us. I've met him years ago, even when I was at my other schools. I used to come from Dorman. And so this year, that was kind of our focus was, you know, with COVID last year, we didn't know if we were going to wrestle or when we were wrestle. And so the hashtag you'll see is wrestle the day way. Nate Day was an amazing guy who just wanted to wrestle and wanted to improve the sport altogether. And that's something that's been kind of nice this year, is that the kids want to wrestle, other teams want to wrestle. And that's kind of been our focus is, you know, Nate Day won, I think it was 6 state titles here in his span. And so our kids, it wasn't about this year about going to win a state title or wrestling. It was just going to compete the right way. Getting that focus of, we're going to win our matches how we should. We wrestle like we should. We show up for practice. But it's been tough. I mean, how do you replace a Nate Day? How do you follow in those footsteps? And I told the kids, you can't. But you can wrestle hard every day and wrestle the right way and wrestle the right stuff. And that's kind of been our focus, is not necessarily going out and winning everything, but going out and wrestling the right way and competing and being competitive in every match. And other than our first weekend, we've pretty much done that. We've tried to stay competitive with everyone we see and just kind of wrestle how Nate would have wanted us to wrestle.
Coach, just tell me more about Nate Day and his impact to Battery Creek wrestling, just wrestling in the Low Country over the years, and just your thoughts on the COVID-19 pandemic as it continues to impact us and unfortunately take way too many lives. Yeah,
so Nate was at Battery Creek. I believe he came here in about the early 90s, and he won 6 titles. Now he won 3, took a little break, and came back and won 3 more. And his big thing was just wrestling the right way. I started my career over at Dorman High School in the Upstate, and I knew about Nate Day. And I actually had the honor of last year at the state tournament getting a photo with Nate. I've got it somewhere. I'll have to send it to y'all. But me and Nate, I just talked to him and I said, hey, I thank you for everything you did for the program. And he said, well, I want to see Battery Creek continue to grow. And it was kind of one of those things. I mean, Nate was a healthy guy. I think he was 54 years old and still doing Granby rolls down the hallways at North Myrtle Beach High School when I met him. So he never lost a beat or lost a step. And then we had heard he had COVID, and he was getting better, and it took a turn for the worse. And that was kind of one of those things that I had to explain to the kids. Like, we don't know how this works. We don't know what's going to happen, but the only thing we can do is try to stay healthy, just get out there and wrestle. One of the big things we did this year is we had a celebration of life for Nate Day, and his wife came down, and a lot of former wrestlers talked, and I made sure all the Battery Creek wrestlers were there. And afterwards, one of the things was, Coach, they loved him. It wasn't that they loved him as a coach, they didn't love him as a wrestler, they just loved Nate Day. And I think anyone who's ever met Nate Day or knows Nate Day knows that you didn't walk away without smiling with that guy. And he built a legacy, and that's people came down to Battery Creek to wrestle against Nate Day. When he would have the trap duels years ago, I mean, it'd be 20, 30 teams trying to come into the tournament. This year we had it, and we only had 8 teams. I had people calling me, Coach, we want to come. Coach, we want to come. I was like, with COVID, we're capping at 8. And they said, well, next year, open it back up. And I said, well, and if you met Chad Cox or Nate Day or Mike Newton, those 3 guys are all about wrestling. And they were like, yeah, we'll do 30 teams. I'm like, I don't know where we're going to put them. But Nate never said no. He would go pick up kids at their house. He would take the bus to go pick up kids. Like, there was never an excuse with Nate not to be at practice. There was never an excuse not to make a tournament. He would go get basketball players. They would wrestle and do basketball the same season. And it's almost unheard of, but Nate never said no. He never say no to a kid. He would never say no to wrestling. And heck, I don't even know if we have a full set of singlets, but Nate had 55 singlets, and he would have every kid would have a Battery Creek singlet on at the end of the day.
Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah, you're exactly right about never leaving a conversation without a smile on your face. I mean, just cutting up, always had a joke or a one-liner, super witty and so funny. And, I really missed him when he moved up to the upstate, and he was such a great presence here in the wrestling scene and definitely at Battery Creek. But you've got a group of guys here that definitely he would have enjoyed coaching. You got some tough-nosed kids, a lot of guys who were coming back that you kind of knew what you had, especially with Sam DeGroat, and Drayshawn Brown, but a bunch of guys that really we didn't know their names coming into this season that have really stepped up and become key wrestlers for you and look like guys who are probably going to go to the state tournament and maybe bring home a medal. Tell us a little bit about the development of these young guys that you weren't necessarily counting on this year.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Last year we had no seniors. COVID kind of hit us hard. We had no seniors. We had one kind of come out and then left. And so, like, for instance, Riley DeRay. Right now, the kid's 16-2 as a 113-pound senior. I mean, it's unreal, but he got hurt last year right before season. And so one of the big focuses last year was, even with COVID, we tried to keep everybody. We've got Sebastian Sanchez, who, this kid's a senior. He's only wrestled for 2 years, but he's filling big shoes. He's filling Gunnar DeGroat. And Gunnar DeGroat was, as a freshman, a state placer. And Gunnar gets a shoulder injury, and we got to scramble. And Sebastian now is 11-6 on the year. Won a region title, and like you said, it's been focusing on the little things, and that's why I told the guys, if you're too big to do the little things, you're too little to do the big things, and that's kind of been our focus. Is that it's 14 guys on a team. It's not one guy. Sam DeGroat is an absolute animal, and he's a leader in the room, but Sam can't win a state title for the team on his own, and I've always kind of had that philosophy that state championships come in too. Whether you're in the state finals, your partner's probably right behind you, if not in the medal round itself. So a lot of our guys like Riley and Sam work together, and you got Elmer Linares as a sophomore who's a state placer. The Smith boys, Hunter Smith just popped into the rankings, and Bradley's been kind of our linchpin, even though he's kind of been quiet in the stats wise. I mean, he's been wrestling hard. And then, Drayshawn coming back, he had a season-ending injury last year, which pulled him out of the state tournament, but they just came in with this focus this year. And I don't know if it was something we did coaching wise or if it was just we were hungry. And I told the guys at the beginning of the season, our goal was, I sat down with the seniors, said, what's the goal? And they said, Coach, we're getting that new gym and all that stuff. We want a new banner. So that's been kind of like our banner boys was kind of their hashtag. And so that's what they wanted. And so it was funny though, because after we won the region, the first thing Sam said to me is, we're not done, Coach. We're not done. And I was like, all right, so now you guys have got, as a coach, you tell those things, but now that they start telling you it back, it's kind of been exciting to see.
Every guy matters on this team, and what an accomplishment, sending all 14 to lower state, everybody placing the top 4 in the Region 8 3A qualifier. Tell me about the magnitude of that accomplishment and how it really showcases the depth of this squad from top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing with wrestling is sometimes you don't have a lot of depth. And, we're a smaller school with 3A, but we have about 30 guys on the team this year. And we've had a lot of guys kind of pop inside the lineup and fight for a spot. I mean, this is the first year I've had 3 or 4 different heavyweights that have gone out and competed and won. And so it's been kind of fun, but these guys want to do it themselves. They want to win. And it's been cool to watch the guys support each other. And when we got to regions, I said, guys, we have a good shot to get, a couple champions and a couple guys qualify. And the seniors again said, Coach, that's not enough. I said, what do you mean? I said, we want all of us to go. And so that's been kind of that thing is it's been a family. It's really become a unit. They're all buddies. They're all friends, but they're more than that now. I mean, they're in the hallways. They're talking to each other. They're showing each other moves. Like wrestling is one of those competitive sports where sometimes you don't want to show your teammate too much because then they might beat you in the wrestle off. That's not how it is in this team. This team is always supportive, always talking, always kind of keeping each other rolling. And when we got to regions, they walked in with this like air of it's business, it's a business trip. And so when all 14 of them qualified, it wasn't just I won region or I did good. It was we're all going to lower state. We're all still competing. So it's been really kind of humbling as a coach to see the kids kind of buy into your system.
Yeah, and I mean, some of it is kind of dumb luck too, right? Where you ended up with it just so happens you have a couple of guys who can weigh in at 120 and a couple who can weigh in at 145, and you can do, and they're pretty interchangeable, so you can do some pretty creative things with your lineup. I'm sure that was kind of a work in progress, but do you feel like you guys are now where you need to be weight wise going into the dual playoffs to make a run?
Yeah, I mean, weight's always an issue when it comes to wrestling, and so that was kind of one of those things where you've got Elmer Linares and Sam DeGroat. Elmer Linares got 3rd last year. Sam got 2nd. Both of them came out this year sitting at about like 119, 120. And so when we kind of look at it as a team, Elmer was like, I want to go 126. I don't want to have to worry about weight. I don't want to go up. And then right at Christmas time, I said, Coach, I'm only weighing like 121. Can I start weighing in at this weight class? I was like, yeah. And so that's really kind of given us some depth. And same with Sebastian Sanchez and Ryan Israel. Both of them were weighing about 145, 146. And I said, Coach, can we both weigh in at this weight? And I was like, yeah, actually, that's what we want. So we had some conversations with like Sebastian early on in the year. He's like, Coach, I don't want to cut weight. I'm a senior. I said, cool. And just with the natural grind of wrestling, all of a sudden he's sitting at like 147. And he's like, Coach, I think it's my time. I think I can do it. And I said, yeah. And it's been really fun because we can kind of chase a little bit and move people around. And whereas Sam's a real technical kind of guy, Elmer has some funky things he does. So if I see a kid likes to roll around, Elmer might catch you. Or again, Sebastian is a soccer player. His conditioning can go forever. If this guy's a grinder, then I can send Sebastian out there. I know Sebastian will be able to compete. And Ryan's been around the U.S. His dad's military. So he's got some fun things that we can see. And so it's been really kind of cool to kind of play with the lineup a little bit. You don't want to change too much of it, but it's been nice having the option to move people around. And same with Bradley Smith. I think Bradley's pretty much split his time between 32 and 28, kind of wrestling, or 38, kind of wrestling to see which one he wants. But it also gives us options to go chase a kid or to go pin a kid at a different weight.
Yeah, you bring up a good point when you mentioned some of these athletes who are playing different sports and finding ways to excel on the wrestling mat and using that to help build your talents across other sports as well. We've seen a lot with football players at May River, at Battery Creek and beyond. Just tell me about what wrestling does to help you grow as an athlete that can transfer skills to other sports, but also bring some of those talents from those sports to wrestling. So I think it kind of goes both ways when you look at the benefits here of taking in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny you said that. I was just talking to Coach Dellinger, our defensive coordinator, about tackling drills. And I said, one of our heavyweights, Anthony Phelan, has never wrestled before. He plays a little DN, a little inside, and he's hit probably the best football tackle I've seen all year against a heavyweight against Bluffton, but it was a double leg takedown. And so depending on how you terminology-wise, it's really the same thing. And like this year, I know we had Drayshawn Brown, Hunter Smith, Bradley Smith, Nate Gallego, all came from football into wrestling. And then you've got like all those guys go to baseball after this, as well as Diego Vega, Alex Vega. I mean, we have, of our starting lineup, I think 8 of them are dual or 3-sport athletes. I mean, it's really, other than Sam DeGroat and Elmer Linares, those are the only 2 wrestlers that just wrestle all year round. Everybody else is 2 3-sport athletes. And I always encourage kids to play more sports, especially at a small school. We need them. I mean, an athlete's an athlete. It's just, can we make you a wrestler? And we were talking about this with Drayshawn Brown last night. The way he moves, he's now looking more of a wrestler than a football player. It's taken about 3 years to figure out, but he's done both. And he's gotten offers for football, and he actually went on a official visit the other day for wrestling. So he's kind of put the ball in his court on what he wants to do and opened up his options. But again, it's really, they don't really change. The philosophy's still there. It's still the grind, still the everyday competing. And I think once you're an athlete, you're an athlete. I think that doesn't leave. I mean, even I see teachers in the hallway, they're athletes, and you can see them grinding every day just with our student athletes alone. So I think an athletic mindset is what you need, and the skills can come along with it. I can teach you to wrestle. I can't teach you not to get pinned. I can teach you how to go out there and grind and how to move around, but I don't have that determination to make you want to be an athlete.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a super technical sport, and the earlier you start, the better you're going to be. But like you said, if you're an athlete and you're a competitor and you have a little bit of aggressiveness and toughness in you, you can become a wrestler. I mean, we can equip you with a double leg and a half, and you can get a lot of work done against a lot of guys. You're going to run into some guys you have no chance against, but you're going to be able to get a lot of work done against a lot of guys. So we've seen it time after time, and I think we're going to continue to see more kids come into the sport in this area as it continues to grow. Now, how long have you been in the area, and how much have you seen the growth of wrestling in that time?
So I've been here. I came to Battery Creek. This is my third year. I got here in 2019. I was the assistant coach the first year, and then I took over last year as the head coach. But I've been in South Carolina wrestling. I started wrestling in 2005 up at Dorman High School. So I was an athlete through Dorman High School system, and that's what I kind of modeled my stuff off of. As my old coach, I had a great coach, Chad Singleton, up there at Dorman. He's still there. But his whole philosophy was building you from the beginning and building a complete person. And so coming down to Battery Creek, I knew that we've had success before, and I know that wrestling has been a focus, especially at Battery Creek. But, I mean, Beaufort County is a hotspot for wrestling. May River, Hilton Head, Beaufort High. I mean, these guys are competing every year, and we've kind of been that little brother to them. And I kind of told the guys, it's our time. It's our time to kind of not be the little brother, and let's get after it. But Battery Creek has always been a wrestling school. So it was just getting back to the fundamentals of what makes us successful here.
Yeah, and it's not just for guys. We've seen some phenomenal girl wrestlers, including Zaya Estrada, who has come on the national stage as one of the best in the country at her gender and in her age bracket. And Estrada repeating as state champion at the Carolina Invitational just this past week. And Siobhan Rogers over at Bluffton, a champion as well. So talk about this talent on the girls' side of wrestling and how you think it'll grow in the coming years.
Oh, I'm a huge proponent. I've had a few girls wrestle for me before, and I mean, Estrada is unreal. I mean, that I don't even look at her as a girl wrestler. I look at her as just a wrestler. I mean, she wrestled Elmer last year, and she wrestled Sam this year, and both of them were good matches. There's been a lot of great wrestling from the girls division, and I want it to grow. I mean, I think it sometimes makes it a little bit tougher because a girl's body and a guy's body, they develop different times, and so I hate to see when Estrada gets beat just because she wasn't strong enough, because I can see the wheels turning. I can see, I mean, her coaches, Bullware is a phenomenal coach with that, about teaching her, okay, how to move around and keep them moving. And Estrada's been all over the U.S., but I fully believe girls should have their own state title. And I think that if the girl wants to wrestle in the guys division, let her. I've never met a girl at the high school level that went out for wrestling just to do it. I mean, they're coming to compete. They want to win. And it's not a gender thing. It's, I'm an athlete, you're an athlete, let's go grind it out.
If anything, I think they're more motivated. I think they have more to prove, and they really want to show that they can compete with the guys. And obviously Zayo can, and I've seen Siobhan wrestle some really tough kids, really tough too. So, and in fact, my nieces in Kansas are wrestling now. Kansas has full-blown sanctioned girls wrestling. They went to like a 32-team tournament the other day, all girls. So, I think it's coming. It may be a matter of time. May take a little longer to filter down to the South, just kind of some older attitudes about that and stuff. But I think it's coming, and I think it's coming pretty quickly in South Carolina. And I think this area will probably be one of the biggest areas of the initial growth, just because of what Zayo's doing and now Siobhan as well. So great stuff to see. And take us through the rest of this season and how you're visualizing things. You're obviously getting into the dual playoffs. You'll host the first couple of rounds on Saturday. And how do you kind of balance the team dual playoffs with also preparing the guys for the individual tournaments that are coming up? And, I know the weights can be a little bit of an issue, but what are some of the challenges of balancing those two things?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, we had region duels on Wednesday and then had to turn around and do individual regions on Saturday. So your team focus, individual focus, and after Saturday, it's been all team. I told the guys, we want to compete as long as we possibly can, and we want to keep moving. So Saturday, we have the first 2 rounds here at Battery Creek. It's also our senior night, or senior day, I guess. But if we win both of those, which, we as a team, we plan to win, we plan to keep going, we're going to probably have to travel on a Monday night. And it's a tough week. It's a battle on nutrition because if you're traveling, like right now, it looks like if we travel, we'll go to Aner, and that's a 2.5, 3 hour drive. So, you got to get out of school early, you got to go wrestle, and then you got to get back. And then if you win that, then we have another one on Wednesday. So you've really got to focus on the student athlete part of that. And that when we're on the bus, it's going to be some studying on the bus. It's going to be some working on the bus. It's going to be tough, but that's the focus you got to have, is that right now we are 5 duels from a state title. And that's what I tried to explain to them. I said, you guys got 5 matches, 30 minutes of wrestling for a state title at this point. And I said, and then we'll go back to the individual focus. So right now it's pretty much all team. We're not really looking at lower state individuals yet, just kind of focusing on what we have in front of us. We got Lakewood. That's a tough opponent this weekend first. And then we'll hopefully, if we handle our business and do what we're supposed to do, we'll get either Brooklyn, KC, or Loris. And again, if we're not ready, those guys, they're coming at us. So we've got to kind of come at them and kind of do what we can to see what's our focus and what we can do.
Yeah, no matter what sport it is in the postseason, it's always take it one game at a time, one bat at a time, and that's the key in order to going all the way and contending for a state championship. And right now, you guys are ranked at number 9 in Class 3A. Just your thoughts about the rankings at this point, and what will be the points of emphasis, more importantly, to going on that run and looking to compete for a state championship?
Yeah, it's being 9 is great, and we love it. And I told the guys, it's a good focal point, but use that to fuel you. Why are we not top 5? Why are we not top 4? What separates us from those teams? And one of my kids kind of brought up there laughing about it. They said, Coach, how are we number 9 and we won the region? We should be top 8 because there's only 8 region champs. I said, I don't know. What do we need to do? And so we use the rankings as kind of a fuel. Some of the kids are all about, I want to be ranked. I want to be in the ranking. I'm not the biggest fan of the rankings just because I think it puts a little bit of a target and a pressure on you. Some kids love the pressure. Some kids don't do well in the pressure. So, someone like Sam DeGroat, you can't really hide a Sam DeGroat. I mean, that kid's an animal. But when you have someone like Hunter Smith who just popped in the rankings, that for him is, I think, that little boost he needs. And some of the guys are like, why am I not ranked? I said, well, let's go find out. Let's see what this guy has. Why are they doing the things better? So I love the rankings and that aspect of it. It puts a visual goal for the kids. And I'm all about visualizing. Like I told the guys, you need to be visualizing your matches before you ever go out there and wrestle. You've got to be ready to grind, and you've got to do a mental match in your head. All right, if I shoot a high C and he sprawls, can I circle? And I said, same thing with the rankings. All right, so if you're at 6 and you're going to go wrestle a guy at 5, what do I have to do to switch those spots? What do I have to do to go be the number 2 or the number 3? And like Drayshawn Brown came in the year at like a 6 or a 7, and now he's up to 5. And he said, so see, Coach, I'm taking the little chips. I'm taking the little chips. Because when it comes down to it, the state tournament, rankings aren't going to matter. It's everyone puts their singlet on one leg at a time, and everybody's been to practice. It's just who can cut loose for 6 minutes, who can let it fly and just go out there and wrestle and have fun. It's got to be fun, because I think a lot of high school athletes forget that this is a sport and it's supposed to be fun. And so we try to do things like that. Like, guys, remember, it's about having fun. It's about the winning is fun. Practice is not fun. Practice is never fun. Maybe you might play a game here or there, but practice isn't fun, guys. Wrestling is not fun. Winning is fun. And so that's what one of the kids told me. I had a freshman come over and goes, you're right, Coach. When they raise your hand, that part's fun. And I said, what's not fun? He goes, when I'm on my back, Coach, that's not fun. And so I was like, well, let's not go to our backs anymore. It's if you like to have fun, I like to have fun. So
it's not very fun to stand there and watch them raise the other guy's hand in front of everybody either. That is not a good time.
That's why I love this sport. You get humbled real quick. I don't, the other day I try to wrestle with the kids. I tell them, I'm not going to make you do anything I wouldn't do. And it'd been like about 2 or 3 years since they got a takedown on me. Well, Hunter Smith got me, and he got me with a little bit of old age, and he hit me hard. And I looked up at him. He looked at me, and he was like, "Did I just take you down?" And I was like, "Hey, the match is still going." And he's like, "No, coach, I'm done. I'm done. This is the biggest moment of my life." So it's a humbling thing, man. I mean, I turned 30 this year, and to get taken down by a 16-year-old kind of puts you in your place real quick.
Yeah, well, a few more years and you'll be like, well, yeah, I mean, he's 16. Of course he took me down. I got to go pretty hard on my 11-year-old these days. He's getting strong, man.
Oh, I won't tell him that stuff. I'm like, yeah, you guys go do a couple sprints. I'm over here in the corner like trying to catch my breath real quick.
Dying. Well, thanks so much, Alex, and congratulations on all your success thus far. And I agree, you're a little too low at number 9. I think you guys are going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs, and we're excited to see how far you can take it, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys, of course, all your support, my kids, all your articles I printed out outside the classroom, and they're "Did I make the hammer? We team of the week." So we appreciate y'all and just keeping us, on that grind. And the kids love it. And every week they're texting their buddies at Hilton Head and May River, like, "Hey, I made the rankings and you're not," or "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Because we won team of the week. So it's been really fun to just have that local support. So we appreciate y'all more than anything.
That's just what we're going for, man. We just want to get people excited about it and talking about it, and get a little bit of recognition, exposure for these guys and girls who are out there working their butts off and representing their schools in the Loco, man. So thanks for playing along with us.
Hey, anytime you guys need me, I love not having to teach. You know how that is.
Right on. Thanks so much to Alex Rutherford, Battery Creek Wrestling. We'll be right back with more here on the LowcoSports Lowdown. All right, Wes. Well, great talking to Alex. Doing a tremendous job over at Battery Creek, and I got to know him a little bit a few years back. He helped us get the Low Country Wrestling Club off the ground. He was kind of running things over, or helping run things over at the Beaufort location at Battery Creek, and a tremendous guy. I think he's been a huge asset to the coaching staff there, not only as the wrestling coach, but assisting with the football team. And you can tell he's a team player. He's not from here. He's not tied to Creek emotionally long term, but he loves that school. He loves those kids, and he cares about the Creek being on the rise. And he's definitely got that wrestling team on the rise.
Well, he certainly does, and I think he's going to do some great things and build on what he's done so far over there at Battery Creek. And what a season it has been for the Dolphins. 14 qualify into the lower state individual tournament from those region qualifiers. That's a big time accomplishment. It really shows the depth that they have on the squad. And what a special season. It's also been a very emotional season after losing Nate Day, legendary coach, passing away due to COVID-19. Just a terrible tragedy. It just goes to show you that COVID-19 is still a major threat, and we need to continue to do all that we can to limit the spread and get vaccinated and continue to work our way out of this pandemic, which is still a very big issue. But it's been a very strong season for this Creek team. Obviously, Sam DeGroat's been the star, but they got just so much depth on that squad that is continuing to show out, and Rutherford's just done an incredible job building that depth and really allowing these guys to put in the work and teaching them the craft of how to win at wrestling and how to put in the effort every day. And he said practice isn't fun, but winning is fun. And when you can win on a regular basis and put in the work, and you visualize that goal every day when you walk onto the mat and you go to practice, that's what you're hoping for. And that's what the end goal is, to win matches and obviously win trophies and win hardware. And I think Battery Creek has a good chance of doing that. And I think a lot of our wrestling teams and athletes also have a chance at that. May River looking strong as we head down the stretch, getting into the dual championships very soon. Hilton Head High looking to take down the Sharks as well. And some individuals who are also looking strong. So I'm really excited for the end of this wrestling season, both the dual championships and the individual championships. I think we should get a ton of placers and a ton of teams that are going to be in contention to bring home some hardware and some state titles.
Yeah, and we'll get the lower state qualifier for 4A right here at Bluffton High School in a couple of weeks. So we're looking forward to that and hopefully see a bunch of guys punching their tickets to the state tournament. And speaking of that Battery Creek wrestling team and Nate Day, I mean, how cool that a guy who got here long after Nate Day was gone from Battery Creek still knows that much about his about him, about his legacy, about the program he built. I think it's really a testament to, not only how huge of a figure Nathan Day was at Battery Creek High School, that they still talk about him like that, but just to the state of South Carolina wrestling. I mean, a guy who grew up in the upstate and wrestled knew Nathan Day, who was coaching down here in the southeast corner, and I got to know Nathan as both a coach first and then as a parent, because his son Ryan was a star football player and basketball player at Thomas Hayward, and he's just a tremendous guy, and it's a big loss, and I get a little emotional every time I see the little tributes they've done to him this year and stuff. But it was really neat to hear Alex talk about that relationship and what Nate Day meant to Battery Creek wrestling.
Yeah, just a terrible loss for all of us here, not just in the wrestling community, but for all of us here in the Low Country and across the state for all that he did. He was an absolute legend at Battery Creek and put together just so many special seasons over there on the mat, and his legacy lives on. And Rutherford has done a great job really continuing what he started over there at that program. And they think about him every day over there on that mat, and when they're practicing, when they're competing, and what a great job they have done to really carry his legacy forward in the season and beyond. So just an absolute legend here in the entire state of South Carolina in the sport of wrestling. And once again, COVID has just been tough for all of us, but even more so when we remember the lives that we lost because of this virus. And we just hope that we continue to advance in terms of getting people vaccinated and finding ways to get us forward to coming out of this really unfortunate pandemic. And we just remember Day as just a prominent and incredible figure in the sport of wrestling and helped shape the lives of so many young men here in the area.
Yeah, no doubt. He was a tremendous guy, a tremendous resource for local wrestlers. All right, Wes. So let's shift gears real quick, and we'll keep it on the north side of the Broad River, but really it's across the pond, because Ryle Owens, our guy from Beaufort, Port Royal, named an All-Star in the Georgian Super League. He's a rookie in the Georgian Super League, of course. Just signed with Tbilisi this past season, and off to a great start. I mean, we've kind of kept tabs on him a little bit through the season, but great to see Ryle have this success, named to the All-Star team. I know they played the game the other day. I haven't been able to find the stats and the I don't deal well with the language, so the website's a little tough to navigate for us Americans. But what we know is Ryle is an All-Star. We saw a phenomenal photo of him, jumping over somebody in the dunk contest. So that was pretty incredible, and he just continues to exceed expectations and get the most out of the incredible work that he's put in to get to this level. And so happy to see him having success over there and earning an All-Star nod.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryle's just done some amazing things to find yards at every step. We talked about what Nick Pringle's done. We said he bet on himself and he won. I think the same is true for Ryle Owens, because he was overlooked at really every phase, coming out of high school and just didn't really get many opportunities. Went to USC Salkehatchie and found a way to perform there, and went to Young Harris and shined over there. And just every step that he has gotten, he's taken advantage of and used that to elevate his status up to that next level, and now playing professional basketball. And once again, he's killing it over there overseas and earns an All-Star nod. What a terrific start to his professional career and his campaign over there in Georgia, and just not some experience, playing overseas, getting to meet some new faces, other Americans, but also people from across the world, and having to adapt to that new environment can be very challenging. Every spot around the world is different, and they play a different kind of basketball. You have to kind of adjust and tailor your skill sets to how it fits in with the team, and he's done that very well, continuing to shine all season long, and has been named now an All-Star and got to participate and just not some opportunity in the All-Star game. And everywhere he has gone, he has put in the work and he has delivered at every spot in his career. And I think he will continue to do so as he moves forward. But I'm sure Nick Field is so proud and so happy. And he was absolutely huge and getting Ryle to the spot that he is now, and same you can say about Pastor Middleton, the trainers that really helped propel him. So it's a village, as we said, and we're all part of Team Ryle, and we're so proud of what Ryle continues to do.
And H2 basketball,
right.
he worked out with them a lot, 843 Sports. So, Ryle is awesome. What a great inspiration. And speaking of the junior college route, that's exactly what we're talking about. A guy who didn't get the attention that he probably deserved coming out of high school, and bet on himself, went the JUCO route, and ended up in a really good situation, and then made his way. So we've got a lot of those stories from this area. D Delaney, and he didn't go JUCO, but he was down and out and got himself back up. Nick Pringle going the JUCO route and headed to Alabama. So maybe Pringle's success in Dodge City is helping to fuel some of this recruiting happening in the Low Country, because they're like, man, we got some diamonds in the rough down there along the coast in South Carolina. So great stuff for Ryle, making the Loco proud, repping us well. And finally, Wes, before we get to our teams of the week, tell us a little bit more about the USCB baseball and softball teams getting started this weekend. Obviously the baseball team, the record not where you want it to be, but they played a tough Milligan team, lost a couple of one-run games, won a one-run game and a walk-off, and then you hit the ball pretty well against Augusta the other day. And then softball, opening up with a D2 opponent and Sierra Belinsky tossing a 3-hitter right out of the gate. That's a very promising start for Cody Yeski.
Yeah, that's a strong sign, especially considering who they lost last year and two studs in Ali Maraskin and Maria Malasso. And Belinsky was someone who was kind of inconsistent last year, struggled with her control. I thought she walked a lot of batters, but man, it was pretty impressive, the job that she put on. Did a great job of working out of trouble, had some runners on base those first few innings, but able to make some pitches and get out of it. And Belinsky, just absolutely sensational to start off here. What a momentum builder that is to have your starter come in, go the distance, throw a complete game shutout, and take down a D2 squad over there in Anderson. So that's an impressive way to kick things off there for Cody Yeski. I think she's going to do some great things. And you talk about what she has done, really amplifying the offensive talent in terms of their work ethic. And, of course, Bailey Wigness did a phenomenal job when she was there. But I think Yeski is taking it to a whole nother level in terms of the offensive production. She is making these players work hard, putting the reps every day, taking swings, and building positive at-bats, whether it's getting on base or finding a way to move runners over. You talk about this all the time with your baseball team. It's all about stringing together those at-bats and putting runs on the board. And I think the approach is there with what Yeski is putting together with this offense. And, man, how about the talent of these bats? 3 home runs, Devin Weller, Ashton Alty, and Addie Reynolds, all with homers, including Weller started off in the bottom of the first inning for the Sand Sharks with that solo home run to really set the tone in that first game, which they won 2-0. Cody Yeski, I just love this new offensive approach that she has instilled in this group, and I think it's going to do wonders for them as we get closer to Sun Conference season. I think the key for the softball team really establishing that pitching depth. Had some tough outings in that second game. You wanted to see a little more of Taylor Flory. Had a struggling first start, but I think she'll bounce back from that. They have some depth players who I'd like to see a little more of as we get further down the season, but great to have that ace, who I think will be the ace of the staff in Sierra Belinsky, put together a strong showing like that, a complete game shutout against a very tough Anderson roster. So great stuff there from the softball team. And then for USCB baseball, a really good start for the Sand Sharks. And despite the record, which is 1-4, I thought they played a lot better than that showed. And you look at what the starters did, and Brandon Bloom and Scott Matthews, and 2 terrific starts on that first Friday, giving their team a chance, just couldn't put runs on the board. Slow start from the offense, but I think that will correct itself. Just 9 hits in their first 2 games. I think that will get going soon. The talent is just too much to really keep those bats silent. You look at that roster, of course, Leandy Castro, Clint Sellers, Kyron Russ, Nick Milhan, talent across that entire lineup. And you look at some guys with that speed like Wesley Ambrose and what he provides to that depth here of the Sand Shark squad. So many outlets that Ted Faulkner has to get offense from. I think that will really start to get going in very short time. And they were able to put some runs on the board against Augusta. So I'm expecting USCB to really get the offense going in the coming games. But outstanding job by Leandy Castro, I thought, in game 2 of that first series. What a game from Castro in that first win of the campaign, making a laser from right field to gun down a runner. Also came up with the game-tying RBI. So outstanding work by your veteran who needs to be that proven leader on this USCB squad. And we mentioned the position battles at the start of the season, and Ted Faulkner is looking all over his depth for guys that may take over the starting spot. When you look at shortstop, when you look at catcher, and doing some experimentation, seeing what lineups work the best, what catchers perform well with what pitchers. That's what these first few games are for, and I think USCB has done a great job starting to kind of solidify who might be some of the best players to put out there on those different positions over at shortstop and at catcher. So I like this USCB baseball squad. They may be 1-4, but some positive signs early on, especially the pitching staff. The bullpen was great in that first series. Just got to get those bats going. I think they will do it very quickly. Some more baseball coming up this weekend, taking on Bruton Parker. So we'll be on the call for that one, and just get some more reps. That's all that really is the big factor here early on in the season. And I think the offense will come very quickly. So good start there. And USCB softball, Cody Yevsky putting off a heck of a start in the opening series, and they'll be back home this week against Montreat, and then they will be on the road for about a month. A lot of road games. They won't be back home until the middle of March. So a lot of team bonding on the bus, and maybe, as Coach Yevsky said in our interview a couple days ago, maybe she'll be able to treat them out to some soda and ice cream on the road. So they've done a great job building the program here so far, and should be phenomenal for both USCB baseball and softball this spring.
Yeah, I mean, it should be great. I like what Faulkner's doing, challenging his team early here. You know, he could have scheduled the Little Sisters of the Poor to come down from Massachusetts and beaten up on somebody this weekend, but he didn't. You know, he went and got Milligan, and Milligan gave them all they wanted, and you know, they got better this weekend. So I like what he's doing. I think that team's going to be just fine. You know, they have a lot of Latin American guys who. Those guys traditionally don't hit very well when it's cold, and you know, it was really cold this weekend. So I'm not concerned about the offense at all. I think they're going to be fine. You also expect the pitching to be ahead of the offense at this time of year anyway. So it's going to be okay. They got some big dudes who swing the bat in the middle of that order. I love Brian Meyer and what he did at the top of the lineup this weekend, 7 for 7 on the bags. And we didn't even really see Devin Monroe and Julian Galassi, who I think are going to be really good players for him too. So a ton of depth there. I also like that he's, you know, the lineup was completely different from game to game, taking a look at different guys and seeing what they got when it gets to game day. You know, it's not the same as practice. So, you know, who's got it when the lights are on and the chalk lines are laid down and all that stuff. Going to be fun to watch them develop. And if you can't get out to Hardyville to support the Sand Sharks, you can catch all the games on the Sand Shark Game Day Network when they're at home, and hear Wes Kerr and Dylan Kearns on the call. You guys do a terrific job with the broadcast. It's come a long way since they gave me a little Sony Handycam and my own laptop a few years back to try to figure out how to do that thing. But they've really upgraded it. It's a great product. And if you have a Roku TV, smart TV, you can even get the Sun Digital Network app and watch it on your TV. So very nice way to keep up with the Sand Sharks and see if any of the local guys out there get on the field this year. But Wes will have all the coverage.
Actually got some time. He was a starter over the weekend. Jacob Anderson, Beaufort High. I haven't seen much of Riley Stokes yet, but great to see Anderson there. He was actually starting Game 3 of that opening series in right.
Yeah, and I think Stokes will get into the mix there. You know, freshmen, they may even end up redshirting him this year. You know, I have no idea what their plans for him are, but if they have enough depth, that may be a good route for him. Just let him take another year to develop. But they're excited about him, and he's got good stuff. I think he's going to be an effective pitcher at that level once he kind of figures out some of the intricacies. But all right, Wes, well, let's wrap this thing up, bring it in for a landing with our teams of the week, and you get the first crack at it. We had a bunch of teams showing out this week.
Yeah, tough choice. A couple strong teams, both on the basketball and the wrestling side, but I'm going to go with the Whale Branch girls. I truly think they are back and are big-time contenders in 1A. They're 7-2 in the region. They've won 6 straight games. And Kainu Barnwell is just on a tear, and she's, I believe, 3 20-point games and just over the last week. absolutely terrific scorer, and she's really turned it on over those last few games. Find a way to hit those shots from deep, driving to the rim, hitting foul shots, doing everything, passing it well. Just a great ball handler, really exemplifying her strong talents at point guard. And we've talked about the glue guys and the glue girls on our Hoops Report this week, and Erin Rivers really exemplifies that role as a glue girl with her outstanding effort on rebounding, defense, scrapping for loose balls. Just a phenomenal aspect of that Whale Branch squad. And how about Heaven Grant with a monster game from the outside most recently, and you can get that contribution from her. And when this team can hit some shots from the outside, along with that strong defensive intensity, I think Latoya Mack's group can do some big things, and certainly not a team you want to face heading into the postseason. And they've got some hunger. I mean, that first round loss to Lamar, I mean, that was just, man, it really hurt all of them. And I'm sure they are absolutely hungry to get another shot at that postseason. And I think the first round matchup will be a little easier because there's 32 teams. But once you get into that second round, third round, can they get over that hump and pick up some wins and look to make a deep run towards that state title? So I think this Whale Branch team is looking solid after a slow start. They've really picked it up. And I think they're due for a big playoff run. They played Military Magnet close. They had a lead, I believe, at the end of the third quarter, couldn't hold on. And we got the rematch coming up on Monday. So should be a great game there. And I think these girls just want it so bad this year after coming up so close a year ago. And I think they have the talent to make it happen in 2022.
Yeah, they've made some big strides here in the past few weeks, no question. I mean, you talked about Heaven Grant putting up 21 the other night. Last night they blew out Baptist Hill 56-14. Canoe had 18, but here's the good part. Erin Rivers had 10, Heaven Grant had 9, Jalela Jenkins had 8. Kiana Smasham had 6. You know, they're starting to get a little bit more balance, get more people involved, having more success with some of the role players. And that was the key. You know, they really needed that second guard, and Smasham started to show she could handle it a little bit. She drives well. And then Grant coming out of nowhere. They've been waiting for that for a couple of years. They knew the day would come, and it seems like she's starting to turn the corner. So I'm really excited about that team too. You know, I think they've got a chance to make a lot of noise. I'm really interested to see what they do Monday night against Military Magnet. For my pick, I'm going to have to go. I mean, it seems like an easy one, but I'm going to have to take the Beaufort High boys. They just keep winning. I mean, they're undefeated in region play still, which we've talked about how competitive this region is and how slim the margins are from the top to the bottom, but especially the top 5 teams. It's really competitive, and they keep winning. And that says a lot that they haven't, even when they had a slip up, when they didn't play well against Bluffton, they found a way in the end, and that showed their character. So we had Jeremy Huff on the Loco Hoops Report this week. It was great to talk to him, see his enthusiasm and excitement about this team. And I just think they're getting better every night. I really do. I think that guard combo that we were so concerned about early in the season, and with good reason, they have really turned a corner. Anderson Jones, you know, I'm the president of the fan club. I love the little guy. He's just incredible, hustle player, doesn't care about the numbers that show up in the box score, and that's what you need in a point guard. And then you've got Jake Alvarez, who, you know, was a little rusty coming back from the injury, but has been terrific the last couple of games. And you pair those guys, and McLeod Rochelle makes some hustle plays, and, you know, Rowan Higgins can come in and knock down a big 3. Davis Willis gives them good minutes and good size. And then you got the firm. So, I love this team. I'm getting more and more excited about them and the prospect of a deep playoff run. And, you know, I think they deserve to be the team of the week this week.
I think it's a special season brewing here for the Beaufort Eagles, and you mentioned the increased job of that guard play over these past few weeks and these past few games. They've had to rely on Jake Alvarez and now Anderson Jones, and what a great compliment those two have been to the firm of Denison and Odom. When you have those capable point guards who can find a way to pass the ball to those outlets inside, or also bang some threes and create some offense themselves. That's a huge factor as we get down the stretch of having multiple guys to turn to step and make big plays, really on both ends of the floor. You mentioned the hustle and the scrappiness of Jones alongside the play of Alvarez. And, of course, Denison the star power right there of having 3 big guys you can rely on to rebound the basketball, put back and make buckets, and even hit some shots as well, hit some jumpers, maybe even from the outside. So some versatile stars on this group that I think will continue to up their game as we get closer to the playoffs. And another candidate that both of us could have gone with is the team they're playing this week, the Hilton Head boys, because they have won a couple in a row. And the Seahawks are looking pretty strong under Coach Shane Brown. May not be in terms of the star power as last year when you look at Will McCracken and Sam Suma, but this team is still very talented, and they play great team basketball. They don't have that star, but man, it seems like you got balanced scoring every night. A couple guys double figures: Carice Campbell, Zach Morris, just to name a few. Jaden Gilliam, Matthew Larkby, Jordan Nelson Davis, Ja'Cory Walters. They got so many guys they can rely on to put the ball in the basket, and they play such a great brand of team defense, and their ball movement is impeccable. So many things to like about the Seahawks. And I'm really excited for this game of the week coming on Friday night between the Buford Eagles and the Hilton Head Seahawks. Should be a fantastic matchup between these two teams, and the Seahawks right now are on a roll. Can they keep it going against a group of tough bigs over there at Buford, who did a great job against them in that first game? So I'm excited for this one. Seahawks and Eagles coming our way Friday night.
Yeah, I think you're right on there. I mean, I thought about Hilton Head. I just looked at, Buford beat the next two teams in the standings, or two of the next three, whereas Hilton Head, beat up on Bluffton and Colleton at the bottom of the standings, and beat May River. But that was a good showing against May River, and you're absolutely right. The ball movement. I mean, that's why everybody on that team can score, because every time they shoot it, they're wide open. I mean, they just don't take very many contested shots. And when they do, it's usually a drive to the basket where they feel like they can draw a foul. So, I think they play super smart, super strategic, that they can be very devastating in the full court press when they get it set up, because they got a bunch of guys who are kind of lanky and long and make it tough to get to those passing lanes. So, I thought hard about the Seahawks, and if they pulled off on Friday night, they'll probably be one of our teams of the week next week. So there's always next week. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much to everyone who joined us. Thanks to Alex Rutherford. Thanks to everyone who has been over to check out LowcoGolf.com in the last couple of days. And if you haven't and you're interested in the game of golf, definitely give it a look, because I think we got something pretty special building there. And I think the golfers around the area are really going to enjoy it. But and of course, thanks to our sponsors for supporting what we do here, providing grassroots local sports journalism you can count on to celebrate the student athletes and teams here in the Loco. That's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, go Loco.